Hey everybody, how's it going? Here for the second iteration of the live workshop. So I've added a few features to TrainWaybills that I want to kind of just gloss over and show you guys how it works and what it's done to the TrainWaybills platform. It's not actually released yet on the live platform, but I can demonstrate it to you with the platform that I've currently got loaded up at the moment. So what we're going to do is, first I'm going to show you what we've added. So if you go to layout, so as you see, this is the layout section where you put the name of your layout and the processing mode, etc. But if you notice, there's a new section here that says Smart Offspots. So this, to start off with, actually won't show up when you first start your layout because it doesn't actually activate until you start editing your tracks. For example, if I go to my tracks, let's pick something here. Well, we've got team track, for example. If you look here, I've got a team track size limit, and I've also got offspots are available for this one. But if I turned offspots off, that would require the system to actually manage the offspots for you, or certainly help to manage the offspots for you. And that's when this mode is going to start showing up. So there's two positions. There's obviously what would be considered off and on, but they're actually two different modes. So this mode we are going to call a light mode, and then in this mode it's more of a strict mode. So the way it works in light mode is when the system is looking to issue a car with a waybill, it will look ahead to see the state of your industries that it's going to. Now in light mode, it's only going to look at the state of the industry where that where that waybill is intended to go. Now, for example, if you have offspots switched off, so you're not allowing offspots at that industry, what the system is going to do is say, well, I can't deliver it right now to this industry, this particular waybill. So what the algorithm is going to do is it's going to go ahead and try and find a better waybill to assign to that car. Now, it's not going to interfere with your probabilities that you set when you actually create waybills. So if there are no other available waybills to assign to that car, it's basically going to tell you to hold that car in the yard empty, which would simulate something like a yard that has its own cars and you don't have any orders yet from customers. So obviously that car is going to sit in your yard until you can fulfill it with a freight request. So as I say, in light mode, that's what it will do. It will basically look at the next one going ahead. Now, for example, if you ordered a pickup from a warehouse, and that warehouse does have space currently available for that Boxcar to go to, it will assign the waybill to the car, and the car will then be on its way to that industry. Now, the issue with that is if the next industry that it's actually going to drop that freight off to is really busy at the moment, that waybill will still get issued, although there's no room for it on two steps. It's not so much of a problem because you've got to think how long that car's going to be at that industry filling up with the freight before it heads off to its final destination. So really it might not be so much of a problem when it actually arrives there. So this may actually work for you if you've got your waybills well balanced. If, however, you're finding that you're getting a lot of cars getting sent to industries that you don't allow off-spotting, or you are actually getting a lot of off-spots turning up, you can actually put this in strict mode. Now what strict mode will do is it will not just look at the first destination for the pickup, but it will also look at the second destination where it's going. It's not going to be bothered by third, fourth, fifth and sixth. It's only the first and the second, because this is at the point of the waybill being assigned to the car. So in strict mode, it will say, can it be delivered right now to that industry? And also, is there room for it on basically the requesting customer to receive this commodity? Now, again, by the time that boxcar arrives, that may change. So you still have to deal manually with your off-spotting, but this certainly helps ramp down those issues. So I am going to actually do a physical demonstration and show you what can happen and how to deal with it. But yeah, we've given you that option to turn it to light or severe depending on your request. We're going to leave it on severe for now, and you'd press update, and obviously that would update your system. You can change this mode at any time. So if it's not working for you, just go into your layout settings, switch it to another one, update, and then carry on switching and just see if it helps your operations. But like I say, I've given you the option there. So let's go ahead and actually try some operations. And so I've got a bunch of cars here, and they're all going to the main line. Just as a reminder for my layout, this is the main line, these 4 stations here. High Creek Yard is my classification yard, and then we've got 2 branch lines, one going to Horseshoe Falls, which is my logging industry, and another one which is called the Rockwood subdivision, which has got a lot of industry in this area for receiving logs, turning into lumber. Also there's a power station there, there's a food factory, etc, etc. So there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of traffic that goes between these two, and there's a lot of traffic that goes up the main line, and occasionally you get the odd piece of traffic go up to Horseshoe Falls. But we're going to at the moment concentrate on this main line, come back to the yard and see how our cars have been processed. So at the moment we've got 2 for Pine Meadows. We've got a few here for Pine Hill, mostly barge loading, and then we're going to head up to Walnut Ridge for the coal tipple. If you've used them before, as you see, each one of these has a waybill, because we're starting at the classification yard and heading out, and we can actually look at the reports, so we can actually check ahead to make sure that there is enough room. And the way reports are read are, this is a report for marketplace. As you see, the destination for this car is the marketplace. So we can get a quick report on that. We can see that marketplace itself is 79 feet long. It does allow off-spotting. So like I said before, is when a waybill is being issued, the system will take that into account. It will try and find a better one, but it's going to know that you allow off spots, so it will say it will be fine to go, but I'd prefer to give it a better one. But as I say, that all happens behind the scenes. You don't have to touch it. That's the joy of TrainWaybills. It does everything for you. You just set it up and boom, off it goes. So currently we've got 1 car at this spot, which is 26 feet long. So the space available right now is 53 feet. Okay. Because obviously the 79 minus the 26 that's taken up by that 1 car is the 53 feet remaining. So cars ready for departure. This 1 car that's at the spot is actually ready to be picked up, which when we get to Pine Meadows, you will see that this 1 car will be ready to pick up, which basically frees up another 26 feet of space. So what the system's doing now is estimating the space on arrival. So it knows that there are 3 cars inbound. The 3 cars inbound include our car that we're taking with us, which equals 78 feet. So we know there's 79 feet of space, there's 78 feet of cars going to the marketplace at Pine Meadows. And although that doesn't equate, technically it should only have 1 foot space. But what it's saying is there will be 27 feet on the time that you arrive for your car. And the reason why it does it that way is because if there isn't room, it will tell you how much room there is. So you know exactly, if you could take one out and make room for the car. So say you've got a 50 foot going in and there's 2 40 footers ready to go, it will calculate the actual space available when you arrive minus your car. So that's for the marketplace. If we look at barge loading and do a report on that, So 158 feet at barge loading, and there's no off-spots available, so this has to be exact. At the moment there are 4 cars in there. Now the way I've set the Waybills up for barge loading is they're on the immediate turnaround, so I know that all 4 of these will be ready to pick up, because every Waybill that goes to barge loading is in on one Waybill and straight out on the next one. So the space available right now with those 4 cars in there is actually 54 feet. We've got 4 cars available for departure, which frees up another 104 feet. So that will give us our full 158 feet again. So there's 6 cars inbound, including the ones that we have on board. Something else I should tell you is the 6 cars inbound is not just the cars that you have, it also may include cars that you will be picking up, so it anticipates those, and it also includes cars that are at other industries waiting to be picked up to go there. So although it says 6 cars, when we actually arrive at barge loading, we may only have 4 cars to set out, and you think, well, hang on, where's the other 2 cars that it said? Well, they may be at a place that hasn't been picked up yet, that you're not actually going to. So the point of it doing that is it knows that there will be space for the cars that you have on board. If there isn't space, it will actually list where all of the cars are coming from, and as a dispatcher or a yard operator, you can decide it's okay because the extra cars that don't fit haven't been picked up yet, they haven't come to the yard, they won't be going, you will have space. And that obviously gives you more opportunity to do more operations on your layout if you want to do that. If not, you can just read this yourself and treat it as you want. So I know that basically in this instance, I'm going to have space to put those cars, so I don't have to worry about it, and so on and so on. Same with the coal tipple. You can see because it's not listing, it says there's 32 feet spare. I've got a 26-foot car listed there, so I know there's going to be plenty of space for it. So that's basically our train ready to go. So we're going to leave High Creek Yard and we're going to go, in fact, to Pine Meadows. So when we click on that, it's now giving us our mini switch list for Pine Meadows. I'll just explain quickly for those of you that don't know how it works. The green ones are all your pickups, the red ones are your setouts, and any that are currently off spot and need to be moved will be in yellow. And it goes in the order of pickups, off spots, and then setouts. You don't have to do it in that order. You can do it in any order you like. You can set out before you pick up, or you can pick up before you set out, etc., etc. You can pick 2 up and then set 1 out. It doesn't matter. It's completely up to you. This is basically a job list for Pine Meadows, and you can just pick which one to do, which one's going to fit. Now, if we look at them, we've got a couple of cars to set out at Marketplace. And we've got one getting picked up at Marketplace, but this is going to Rockwood, which is actually westbound. We're heading eastbound at the moment, so we can actually leave that for our westbound journey. These 2 are actually going to barge loading, which would have been included in that. In fact, if I press report, you'll see that that's the report that we had before. So these are 2 of those 6 that are heading for the barge loading track. So I will in fact be picking those up. So I do it like so, and I've picked them up. Obviously on your physical layout you will switch that and put it into your consist. Also, if you noticed, if I just go back to that, if you noticed, it actually, there's a remark here that says they need to go at the front of the consist. So while you're switching that, you will take that into consideration that they need to go right at the front of your consist. I will show you how to rearrange these cards, which we've actually added. But at this very time, I'm just concentrating on the cars themselves. So we've got 1 in Marketplace, and we've got 2 to set out in Marketplace. Now, Marketplace can hold 3 cars. I can actually look at the location. You'd physically look at the layout yourself, but I can see there's only 4 cars at Pine Meadows. 1 of them is in Marketplace. Marketplace can handle 3 cars, so I know these 2 can fit quite happily in Marketplace, and we can leave this one here for our westbound journey. Now, If I didn't have space to fit these two, I could only fit one, what I can do is pick up this one and then drop it back off as an off-spot to pick up on the westbound, making room for both of these cars. That's, again, something that TrainWaybills can handle as part of the system. But as this case goes, I can actually fit both of these. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take 125, we're going to set that out, and we're going to take 130, and we're going to set that out. And that's basically our job for Pine Meadows done. So now we're going to head up to Pine Hill for our next location. And here we are at Pine Hill. As you can see, there's a lot more cars at Pine Hill. This is a much busier location. And as you can see, there is an off-spot, which is waiting to the machine shop. We've got some breweries to do. We've got some barge loading to drop off. Two grab loaders going. These are all going back to High Creek, so I don't need to physically pick them up unless I need to. So here's what we're going to do with this one. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to pick up all the barge, we're going to empty the barge track basically. So I'm going to pick up all of these like so. Okay, so now I've got all the barges. I'm then going to fill the barge track up with all the things that we have for the barge. Obviously I'll take note of the number and switch them into the barge loading track. Okay, there we go. Now, Walnut Ridge is on our way. High Creek Yard is not on our way. So we do need to pick up Walnut Ridge. Again, we can do a report. Here's an interesting one. Okay, I have not listed this track with a track length, and I've done that deliberately to show you what would happen in that situation. So if you haven't set up all your tracks with track lengths, the system still works. The system still will help you. So obviously this is at its default, which is unlisted. Track length is actually 0, which is unlisted, and Offspot is available. That's the default. They're always allowing Offspots, but it will still tell you how many cars are at the spot and how much length that is actually taken up in the spot. Now, I know that the team track can handle up to 5 cars. So I know there's 3, and I also know there's none ready for departure. So when I arrive at the team track at Walnut Ridge, there will be those 3 cars there. There are 2 cars inbound. One of them is actually in the overflow at High Creek Yard, and the other one is I've got on board. This basically says it's at Pine Hill Machine Shop. Sorry, a correction, I don't have it on board. This is the one that we're going to pick up. So we're going to pick that up. This one is not with us. That is actually back at the yard. So the 2 cars, I'm only going to be taking 1 car, so that's definitely going to fit, not a problem. I can take that with me. So let's pick that up. And as you notice, this is coming from the machine shop because it's full of tools. So this one's waiting to go into the machine shop. So what I can do is pick this one up. So I look for the Boxcar 0801 at the machine shop, and I pick that up. And then I can take this 807 and actually drop that off to the machine shop. Now I've moved that into position, the system is going to start processing that car. So whatever the timer is set for it, if it's an immediate turnaround or if it's a long turnaround, that won't start until it's actually been delivered, which is right now. So previous to that, it won't have been processed. And I've got one for the brewery. I can quite happily set that out. Actually, let me just check, because this is a digital system. I can't physically see it on the layout. I'm just going to check if there's any at the brewery. There are currently no cars at the brewery. So I am going to set that out. These are all westbound cars. I can leave them in their current position for our westbound journey. So our final destination is going to be up to Walnut Ridge to the coal mine. So we're up here at the coal mine. We're going to pull 908 out of the coal tipple filled with coal. It's going to High Creek Yard, coal loading. Now, that's actually quite busy. Let me have a look. Right, so here we go. It can take 2. Coal loading can take 2. So at the moment, at the coal loading spot at High Creek, there is a car. and there's none ready for departure, but this is a 58 feet track, so it says space available on arrival is 32 feet, which is going to be able to fit our 26-foot wagon, so that won't be a problem to bring with us. And then we've got the car tank loader, a tank car at the tank car loader is currently empty, so that's brought some fuel up to the coal mine. It's unloaded itself. Because we've got yard mode switched on, this is going to want to be returned back to the yard. So this won't get a waybill until we've taken it all the way back to the yard empty, where it will get its new waybill. So we're going to pick that up, and then we're basically going to drop off 911, 922 and 925 at the coal tipple. So I can set those out. And then we've got 801 going to the team track, and that's the one that we just picked up full of tools. So I can now set that out, and our job at Walnut Ridge is done. So I can now head back to Pine Hill, and then we're going to switch these. I'm going to take these two grabs, 924 and 927. Let's pick those up, and let's pick up this Boxcar 809 from Harold and James. And it's going to the cold store and warehouse. Again, I can do a report on that. At the cold store, we've currently got 2 cars sitting there, taking up 52 feet of space. We have 135 feet of space. This does, however, allow Offspots because it's a long siding, but there's only basically five spots to fit any cars. So space on arrival will be 83 feet. Absolutely plenty of space for us to take this, so we can pick that up. We're done at Pine Hill. We're going to head back to Pine Meadows, where we'll have that one. Remember when we headed east up the line, we left this behind for picking up, so now I can go into Marketplace, pick this one up, and there we go. And we've got 10 cars on board, which we're going to take now to the classification yard. Now, before I go to the classification yard, let's have a quick look at our train. Now what's going to happen is all these ones that say return empty, which is actually quite a lot of them, they are all going to be reassigned with a new waybill. Now, again, the reason why we're doing this is we've got this smart Offspot set to strict mode. So let's take this gondola for example. It's going to try and grab whatever's left out of the pool of waybills. It's going to try and grab a gondola waybill. It's going to try and assign it to that car, and it's going to do a check, a strict check to see if the industries where it's going can handle another car. If they can, great, it's going to put it straight onto the car, not a problem. If it can, if it can't, but the industries allow off-spotting, it's going to go and try and find a better one that's actually going to fit. If it can't, it will still assign the one with off-spots, knowing that you can still take it there and off-spot it. If it can't deliver it, and there are no other waybills, what it's going to do is it's actually going to tell you to hold it in the yard empty until it can actually go. So it allows you to have empties stored at the yard. Your industries are not going to get filled up too much. It's doing all that work for you. It's taking all the think work out of it. If you don't want to do it, don't forget you can do all this yourself, but the system is doing it for you. If we look at the others, we're going to end up dropping this one off. We're going to end up dropping this one off, and these two will have to be classified into the Rockwood subdivision classification track, and that's going to the food warehouse. If we look at the food warehouse, here's an example. So there are 3 cars at the food processing warehouse. There are none ready for departure, so I'm taking 2 cars. This actually is a 3-car warehouse, so there actually isn't space for these 2, so I am actually going to have to hold them in the yard, but I'm doing that manually. Now the reason why that's happened is because at the time that this was issued there was space, but for some reason more cars have ended up going there and it's now filled up. So this is going to have to require your own manual intervention to deal with, and I'll show you how to deal with that. but we'll deal with that at the classification yard. So let's go there, and that quick, it's sorted all of our cars out. Before we look at our operations, let's go back to our consist and have a look what's happened. So these two are now set for High Creek Yard. They need to be set out. This one was empty. It's now going to the wood chip loading at Horseshoe Falls empty. These are the two food processing ones that we talked about. This stock car, I think that was coming back empty as well. That's got a waybill. These have all got waybills. So basically, there are no empties. It's all basically everything. It's found enough waybills to actually deal with the situation. So let's do the operations first, and then we'll concentrate on classifying. So the cold store and warehouse, as we know, that definitely had space to fit, and you know, if the layout was in front of me, I'll be able to see that, and I can set that out. And coal loading, we said that there was 2 spots. There's 1 car already there. There's room for this one, so I can set that out. Again, with the layout in front of you, you can make that decision whether you can actually spot it or whether you need to off-spot it for another time. Okay, now what I like to do at the yard is I like to do all the pickups from the classification yard first if I have any overages. Now, what I mean by that is, let me show you. If I look at my tracks, this is my tracks for the yard. As you can see, I've put all my classification tracks together and named them classification, so they're all grouped together on the list. As you see, one is named Overflow, Special and Empties. So that's basically a dumping track. So if it's not getting classified for the main, for Horseshoe Falls or Rookwood subdivision, it basically gets put there. So if it's an empty, it'll get put there. I can make special trains there if I so need, but mostly it's used as an overflow because I have a train length for the layout. If the train's too long to fit into these classification yards because they're tracks because they're too full, I'll put it in the overflow to be made up on a train that's going to go out later. So what I like to do first is check and make sure that I've got any waiting to go, and I'll pick those up. And the way I do that is I go to my location cars and I scroll through and I look at the locations. As you see, these are this is parked in overflow, so there is actually quite a lot of overflows here. So all of these. So now, again, this is more advanced ops. If you wish to do this, I'm going to see if I can pick these up yet, if I'm able to actually take them with me, and I will classify them. And the way I do that is this is going to Walnut Ridge Team Track. I'm going to do a report on that. This is the one we were just at where I said it was unlisted. There are 4 cars at the spot. I know this is a 5-spot track. There's 2 cars ready to go. So that's basically going to give me 3 cars available. Now this is saying it's unknown because it's been unlisted. It doesn't know if there's space or not. But I can see there's only 1 car. Only this car going there. There is space for it. So I'm going to pull that out of the overflow track because I will now classify it for a train to go out on the main. There's a few coal tipper ones here. Let's have a quick look at that. So there are 12 cars. There are several tracks for the coal tipple, and it can accommodate 15 cars in total. I can see that there's 12 there. There are 5 cars ready to be picked up the next time someone arrives, and the estimated space on arrival with the 6 cars inbound is 84 feet, so they can go. So basically all of these coal tipple, I'll pull that one, I'll pull that one, I'll pull that one, and that one. I know they can all now be classified into a track ready to go. So there's one more in the overflow, which is the Rookwood subdivision lumber yard. Let's just do a quick report on that. There's 4 cars inbound. There's space for it, so that can go as well. So let's pull that. So now basically what I have is a consist full of cars waiting to be classified into the track. So I'm going to do that now. And the way I would do that is I'll go to your consist, and I'll classify these into the relevant tracks. Now, the way that the system organises these cars in your consist is it organises them in location order, and then it organises them in the spot order. So like these are all Rockwood, but as you see, the food processing are together and the lumberyard is on its own because we only have one lumberyard. As you see, Pine Meadows, these are all Pine Hill and they're all in order. Yeah, you can see all the coal tipples are all together. So what you can do is, you know, for instance, if I'm going to switch all these coal tipple cars, they're all together. I can look for them in my consist. I can pull 927, 926, 924, 913, and I can classify them all. Now, some people like to have these cards in order, and I'll show you how to do that next time we come back to the yard. I'm just going to do this to speed it up. So Horseshoe Falls, I'm going to classify it in the Horseshoe Falls track. Let me just check the lengths first. Hang on, you do that by location consists. Right, so it's only Horseshoe Falls. You don't have to worry. So this can go into Rockwood, 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 and then these 10 cars are all ready for the mainline again. So I've got another mainline train ready to go. So what I can do is I can actually show you how to reorganize this. So your default view will be this. If I want to look at my consist that I currently have on my train, I can go to your consist. Now, if your consist is actually in a different order, you can reorganize these, and this is a new feature that we've added. So by holding this area here, you'll see that all the cards turn red. Because I'm using a PC, as I move the mouse left and right, it's actually scrolling between one end of the consist to the other. And this allows you to say, right, 913 is actually at the beginning, so I can drag that from there and I can put it at the beginning, like so. I can grab 926, I can put that, oh, hang on, that's the second car, so I can put that there. 927 is actually just after 926, so that can go there. This one is after 927, so let's put that there. And you can basically reorganize your train. Once you've finished, again, you just click and hold that area and you're back to your normal view. But as you see, the order has changed. So now they're in order. And it doesn't matter if you click out of there, you go back to operations, etc., etc. They will always remain now in that order. When you pick one up, it will put it at the beginning here, and then you can again go back into your edit mode and you can drag that and put it wherever you want in the consist, depending on where you have it. Okay, so that's a new feature that we've added. Some people like it. If you don't mind it being in the order of locations, etc., then you can just leave it. You don't have to worry about it. What else was there regarding that? I don't think there was anything regarding that. So we're going to have to do another mainline. Let me just check. I have this in testing mode. I do have it in testing mode, so we can do the mainline straight away. It's not going to matter. So we don't have any. Sorry, let me go to location. We don't actually have any empties to show you what to do. I was hoping to show you. I can't stage it because the system is so random. It's actually behaving very well at the moment. We don't have any that are not able to go. So let's quickly go up the main line, see if we get some empties on the way back. I'm going to do this very quickly. Horseshoe Falls, let's pick that one up and let's drop that one off at the stock pens. Let's go to Pine Hill, and that's Walnut Ridge from the car tank loader. So there's one to set out of the car tank loader. Let's pick up all the barge loading, like so. And let's drop that one off at barge loading. Something I didn't show you before is I've just picked up from the barge loading some cars that are actually heading westbound, and I don't want them. So what I can do is I can go to your consist. See these return empties? They're going to High Creek. Well, I'm going to the next, I'm going to Walnut Ridge, so I don't want to take the High Creek ones with me. So what I can do is drop them here. Okay, so now all I have is the Horseshoe Falls. Why have I got a Horseshoe Falls one? Shouldn't have brought that one with me. That's a mistake, so I'm going to drop that here. I've only got the Walnut Ridge ones to take with me. And if I go back to operations, you'll see that all those return empties are now showing as a pickup. And it says it's at location, which basically means it's not in any specific place, it's ready to be picked up. So let's go to Walnut Ridge. Let's just do this quickly. This is going to be a big train. 2 team tracks. Let's drop all these coals off. And these 2 team tracks. That's that. Let's head back to Pine Hill. Let's pick all these up. I'm just speeding through this just to speed it up. Let's go to Pine Meadows, pick these 2 up. This is a big train. Okay, let's have a look at our consists. So there's quite a few empties there. Yeah, there's quite a lot of empties. So hopefully we'll end up with some empties, and I'll show you what to do. Right, let's go to the yard. There you go. It's processed all the cars. Let's pick these up. Coal loading, coal star, and warehouse. The team track, that's fine. There we go. There we go. Right. Let's look at our consist first. Right, we do have some empties, so that's good. I can show you. And location cars, I've got none to pick up. I've got none to pick up in the overflow. So the overflow's empty. We've got 3 in the Rockwood classification track, and 3 in the Horseshoe Falls classification track, and 20 on board. So I'm going to switch these into the overflow or the empties, because these are all empty, and I'm going to show you another advanced feature of TrainWaybills that you can use. Let's put all that in Horseshoe Falls. I'm just doing this quickly just so I can get these out of the way and show you the next part. And Pine Meadows all the way to Walnut Ridge, these are all main, so I don't have to do them individually. I can just classify the whole train in the main, and there we go, there it is. Right, let's go back to the empties again, because yeah, so all these holding yard empties, these are what we're interested in. So we've got a reefer and we've got 2 boxcars. Let's have a look at the reefer. So what we can do is we can do a bit of investigating. If you're not interested in getting too deep into operations, you can just leave that there in the empties track until the system gives it a waybill, and then you take it with you. If you're more interested in operating, you don't have to do any of this, okay? Just leave it there until it tells you that it's got a waybill, it needs to go, then you can pick it up. But if you are more inclined to really get deep into the operations, we can actually do something here. We can figure out, well, why doesn't that have a waybill? So this is a reefer. First thing we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the waybills. We go to edit existing, and we're going to look at the reefer waybills. And this will show you all the waybills that I have for reefers. There's quite a lot there, so I'm very surprised it hasn't got one, but we'll figure it out. It also tells you how many are remaining. So there's none of these, because these have all been used, so they won't get put into the pile until all the waybills have actually been dealt with. So there's one it could have had there, there's one it could have had there, there's actually a rare one ready to go, it could have had that one as well, it could have had that one. So as you can see, there's one there, there's quite a lot of waybills that could have actually gone out, and this is, you know, again, why hasn't it given it that? Now let's have a look where it's going. So this one is going from Rockwood subdivision food processing warehouse to barge loading. So first we have to find out what's going on at the food processing warehouse. So we can do that by going to reports, and we can look at the industry report, which will actually tell us what's happening right now. So we can scroll down to Rockwood subdivision food processing warehouse. Well, there's already 3 cars there, and as you can see, 2 have just been set out, and 1 is currently loading or unloading, and it's going to be there for another 1 process. So there's no cars ready to go, and that's probably why that particular waybill here has not been given to that reefer, because it didn't want to give it there to the car, because it knows that you can't take it with you anyway, so what's the point of giving it that waybill? You can force it to do that if you wanted to. So how you would do that is like this. I go to location cars. I go to this empty reefer here, and it's number 123. Okay, so I can go to cars, I can edit, reefer. Here we are, there's 123. As you see, it's returning empty. It's currently parked at the overflow, classification overflow. I can edit that car. I can scroll down to assign waybill, and I can manually assign an available waybill if I wanted to. Can you see that's available? So I can assign it. These are not available, so you can't assign them. Yeah, any of the ones available you can manually assign, but remember there's nowhere to put it. So you know, you could do that if you wanted to. I'm not going to do that. I like the system taking care of it for me, so I'm not going to do that. But again, you can use that as a if you want to force it to have one. The other thing I need to show you is that if you think, well, I have waybills, but they're not currently available, like this venison, right? Like this is going to Horseshoe Falls Team Track. Now, if you know that you can accommodate that, let's have a look actually. Let's go to Horseshoe Falls Team Track. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 5 cart, so I know that it can go to the team track. So if you want to force that, what you can do is do this. Click on the remaining, and it will allow you to reset the waybills, right? So I can do that. Oh, there's still 2 in use. Okay. So what that's done is that's saying, right, I'm going to reset this. It's not allowing you to reset it. The reason being is there's 2 already going up there. So it's not going to allow you to use that one. Because what it doesn't want to do is overflow your... it doesn't want to overflow your track with waybills that you haven't assigned. Again, you can get around that. You can go into edit. You can actually give it another one of those. Save it. Go back into edit. Reefer. Now we can reset it, and it's going to issue 1 because you've given it an extra one when you edited the waybill. Now I've forced that to become available. So now you think, okay, well, why isn't it on that car? Okay, if there's one available, why isn't it giving it to this car? These cars are only processed when a train arrives at High Creek Yard. So what will probably happen is next time a train arrives, or next time you arrive, if you're just operating solo, more than likely that waybill will be given to this car, because if it's the only one available, which it looks like it is, it will be given to that car. Again, you can go in and manually give it. If you want to give it right now, we can go back to edit car, edit reefer. Which one was it? It was this one, wasn't it? 1, 2, 3 reefer. Yep, it's in the overflow. So now I can edit, assign the waybill. Which one was it? It was a rare one, wasn't it? Where's the rare ones? Am I doing the right one? Am I doing the right one? That was a reefer, right? Just bear with me a moment. I think I might have found a glitch. Yeah, it's a reefer. 1, 2, 3. Reefer. Is that the one we just reset? It was, wasn't it? Venison. I'm going mad. Let me have a look. Reefer. 1, 2, 3. Edit. Sign waybill. Where's the venison one? Packaged food. Venison, there it is. I think my confusion was this is in a different order. Interesting. Okay, so it is working, but it's in a different order. If that's a problem, let me know and I can change that. But yeah, it is there. So it is doing what it's supposed to do. I just got confused because it's in a different order. Fair enough. So now I can assign that. As you see, it wants to go to Horseshoe Falls. So now if I update the car, because at the moment it hasn't been assigned, but you have to update the car. Update processed, assign the new waybill. So now if we go into location cars, scroll all the way back again, you can see oh, you know what? Okay. Something else the system does is if you edit a car, it will no longer be in the place that it was because it thinks that you've changed something about it. It will throw it back as a pickup. There it is as a pickup. Okay, so remember that if you do edit it, you'll have to pick it up again in the system. Again, it hasn't moved physically on the layout, but the system doesn't know what to do with it. So you would have to pick it up. And now I can park that into Horseshoe Falls. And now Horseshoe Falls has 6 cars. If I go to location cars and scroll along to Horseshoe Falls, these are all classification main. These are all Rockwood. Here's a Horseshoe Falls. 1, 2, 3, there it is. So it's now classified in Horseshoe Falls with a waybill that we have manually assigned. Again, if you want to dive deep into operations, you can do all of these things, but you don't have to. The system has been designed to be automatic. You don't have to do anything. The system will take care of it all for you, but you can deep dive by doing that. So let's just have a quick look at another one. So we've got a few empties here. So for instance, this flat car. Okay, so we're going to do a second one and we'll have a look. Actually, the Boxcars might be more interesting because there's 2 of them. So it really got stuck, didn't it? So let's have a look for Boxcars. Why hasn't that been given a waybill? Let's have a look at our waybills first of all. Boxcars. There's quite a few. Oh god, there's loads of them. Okay. High Creek Yard Workshops and Pine Hill Machine Shop. So let's have a look what's going on at High Creek Yard Workshops. So here's High Creek Yard. Let's go down to the workshops. There's nothing at the workshops. So that wasn't causing a problem, was it? So it must be the Pine Hill Machine Shop. So let's have a look at Pine Hill Machine Shop. There we go. So there's one already in the machine shop, and it's currently loading. So that's why that one hasn't been assigned. Now remember at the very beginning of this video, I said about the different options you can have for smart offspots. If you notice, we've got this in the green, which is the strict. That's exactly what I was talking about. Is it can go to the first location, no problem, but because it can't go to the second location, and this is in strict mode, it's not allowing that car to be given the waybill. If that is causing too much of an issue on your layout, there's 2 things you can do. Number 1 is you can turn that to the light version, which will look at the first destination. As we saw with that Boxcar, is that first destination is available, so we can take it to that first destination and it will assign the waybill. If you don't like that idea, because obviously the second destination might get filled up, what this is going to indicate to you is you have a problem with your Boxcar waybills. Is you have too many of them going to specific destinations. And they're getting filled up too quickly. You need to actually create a more diverse pack of Boxcar waybills to spread your Boxcars around the layout. One thing we can do for that is we can go to reports again, and we can look at our industry usage. Again, if you're just interested in switching, you don't have to worry about any of this, but if you want to deep dive, all the tools are here for you. So we can look at the industry usage. Now, the way industry usage works is it will keep a perpetual log of what you're doing. And what it will do is it will look at how many cars you have, and it will look at double that amount. So if you have 100 cars, it will basically keep a log of 200 movement operations. And these are calculated when you set something out or you move something. So a move is a set out technically anyway. So every time you set a car out or move it into a set out position, it will log that, and it will basically keep a log for you, and then it will tally how many have gone to that specific place, and it will do it in specific spots. So you can look at that and say, right, boxcars, we're interested in boxcars right now because I've got 2 empty boxcars sitting there. I want them to be going somewhere on my layout. So let's have a look at what our boxcars are doing. So cold store and warehouse has received 7 reefers in basically 2 cycles of all your cars, and 4 boxcars. So a cold store could be a particular thing, because I think an indicator is you take its capacity and double it, because obviously we're doing 2 lots of movements, right? We're looking at how many times this has received something over 2 lots of all of your cars being processed. So you can pretty much double that. Now, cold store and warehouse is a 6 car spots on that, and currently we have 11. We have 11 spots taken up in 2 processes. So technically 6 times 2 is 12. So we could actually send 1 more boxcar there technically. So we can make a note of that. We can say, right, cold store and warehouse can have 1 boxcar, right? We can add a boxcar to that. Let's have a look where else boxcars are being used. The team track, there's actually quite a lot of boxcars going there. Not so many gondolas, not so many stock cars. Let's look at Horseshoe Falls. By the way, there's a total there to show you how many cars have actually gone to Horseshoe Falls. Like this is how many cars have gone to High Creek Yard. That's not the classification yard. This is just strictly industry operations. So the industries at High Creek Yard, how many have they received? 20. Horseshoe Falls has received 13, but Horseshoe Falls isn't switched that much. Interestingly enough, the team track has only received 1 boxcar, so that could be another one. So I'm going to make a note of that. Horseshoe Falls team track, we can add a box to that. So quite interestingly, already I'm building up a profile of where my boxcars are lacking. I've got cold store, I've got team track, so I could have something coming from cold store to the team track. That could be, frozen food or something going up to the team track for the lumberjacks. Let's continue though, have a look. The bakery has had 0 boxcars. Well, there seems like a lot here. Bakery. So the bakery could have a boxcar. Barge loading has actually had 4 boxcars. Barge loading's actually got quite a lot of traffic going to it. Barge loading again is another 6-car siding. It's had 13 cars in total. So it is basically getting its fair share. I could up that a little bit more, because there's 3 cycles per. No, actually, sorry, this is on instant, isn't it? So barge loading, that actually should be a lot more. That could be a lot more. So yeah, we could send some to barge loading. We could send a box there. I'm just scribbling the notes down here. The brewery actually is 2 spots and it's receiving 4 boxes, so the brewery is actually doing okay. The grab loader, that wouldn't actually receive any boxcars because it's a grab loader. Same with the tank car loader, that wouldn't receive any. Harold and James, that's been quite busy. That's already getting a boxcar. These are just single spots, by the way, so I don't want to overload these too much. The machine shop, that's received quite a lot here, look. So yeah, the bakery, I could add one to that. Farm General Track has got 2. That looks okay. The grain and mill silos, that's just had 1 gondola. That's not a lot. Yeah, grain and mill. Grain can have a box. So we're gonna fix this situation. Rockwood, I know, is very busy. There's nowhere at Rockwood that I can fit boxes. I can see that it's actually quite busy already, so I don't really want to overload that. As you can see, 54 cars have gone there, so it's actually quite busy. And Walnut Ridge 38, that's quite busy as well. That's received 4 boxcars at the team track, so yeah, that's getting plenty. So I've had a quick look round. I've made a note of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places that could actually still do with more boxcars going there. So I can rectify this issue with boxcars. So let's take, for example, let's take a cold store and send it to the team track. Let's actually see if we've already got one of those. So what I can do is scan through this and see if there's any High Creek. I'm looking for the from High Creek cold store. That's going to Pine Hill Machine Shop. Okay. From Pine Hill, there's a lot from Pine Hill. Right, so we haven't got any. Okay, so there's an opportunity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Waybills. I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to create a boxcar. Let's just do one of these. It's going to go from High Creek. It's going to go from the cold store and warehouse. Let's leave this as a standard turnaround. And I want to send it to Horseshoe Falls team track with let's have a look. What can we? It's going to be food, isn't it? I think it's packaged food. Yeah, here it is, packaged food. Yeah, standard turnaround. Let's actually whip that around, make it a bit quicker, and that's it. That's all we want to do. Now, if I just put one waybill for this, as you see, there's only going to be 3%. I know that there's not many going there, so let's actually up that to 5% with 2 waybills. And then I can save that. There we go. So I've just put those on there. And again, now I've created that, I could actually go to my boxcars. I could look for the ones that are High Creek. It's already going to Horseshoe Falls. Where's the empties? There it is. So we've got a boxcar, High Creek Yard, it's currently empty at the overflow. So I've just created those waybills. I go here. It's probably going to be right at the end, isn't it? No, it's not. Okay. I probably do need to sort this out. So I need to find the ones going from High Creek to... Let's have a look. High Creek Yard to Horseshoe Falls packaged food. There you go. So that's the one we just created. I'm going to assign that to this car. Update car. That's been done. Again, because I've updated it, it's going to show as a pickup. There you go. Yeah. Right. Here's the interesting thing. I've just assigned that waybill. I've updated the car. Now what I said was that will show us a pickup. The reason why it's not showing as a pickup is because it's getting delivered to the place where it already is. So it's showing as a move. So what I can do now is take this out of it's currently off spot because I reassigned it. But remember, it was previously in the empties. So I would physically pull that from the empties and put that in the cold store and warehouse. And boom, there we go. So what I've shown you now is that these empties that are constantly showing up in your classification yard is because of a sum imbalance. And I've showed you using the tools on TrainWaybills how you can actually rectify a lot of these issues. So you can leave it in strict mode and you can just use it as an opportunity to create a more diverse amount of waybills to send your cars to places that they're not often going. So yeah, please use your reports, especially the industry usage report, to gauge where your traffic's flowing and how you can improve that. So I hope that this is sort of brings some light to what TrainWaybills can do, a bit more advanced. Again, don't be frightened by what I've just showed you. You don't have to do that. TrainWaybills will work perfectly straight out of the box without you doing any of this stuff, and you won't have to manually do anything. It will do it automatically for you. You just got to make sure that when you go to your layout settings that you have this smart Offspot set to the strict rule or the light rule, depending on your flavour of how you like to switch. So I hope it's helped, and I will see you on the next live stream. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers. Bye bye.